Hi, I'm Amber McCrae, your connection and nervous system coach. This is a Monday live replay from over on TikTok. I go live every Monday, 4 p.m. Pacific to 5 p.m. Pacific, and we talk about a different topic each week. This week we are talking about I don't want to heal anymore. And it's not that we're going to throw in the towel, but just honoring that sometimes this journey is really exhausting. And we're going to talk about why that is, what we can do about it, and all of that. Pink Diamond, welcome in. Leslie, welcome in. Donna, welcome in. Tracy, welcome in. Hello. Welcome in, everybody. Happy Monday. Tonight, our topic is I don't want to heal anymore. This is a lot of work, and we're tired. That's what we're talking about tonight. We'll get started in just a few minutes. Thank you for being here. Norman Laker, welcome in. Happy Monday. How are you guys? Kendra, hello, lovely. How are you? Hey. Donna, welcome in. We'll get started in just a few minutes. We are talking about I don't want to heal anymore. This is a lot of work. We're not going to quit, but we just want to say it out loud that we're fucking exhausted. That's what we're talking about tonight. Kevin, welcome in. Oh, wow. I didn't know you had surgery. I'm glad that everything went well and that you are good. Dane, welcome in. Devin, welcome in. Eric, welcome in. Tara's in the house. Deborah. What's up? Bill, welcome in. We'll get started in just a few. Amber, you made it. How was your son's award ceremony? Whoop, whoop. Aw, thank you. Oh, you didn't get it when I sent it to you? I don't know. Sometimes doesn't. I might have to do it individually. No worries. Thanks for stopping by. Marion is wise. Welcome in. Tonight, you guys, we are talking about, we don't want to heal anymore. We're not going to throw in the towel, but we are exhausted and we want to take out the shame from being exhausted and take out the shame and understand and talk about why we get exhausted, healing burnout, all of that. Thank you. Healing Heart 2, welcome in. Can I get a 1 in the chat if you have ever felt like, what the did I get myself into hopping on this healing journey, this adventure? Put a 1 in the chat. This is my 1. I'm putting a 1 in the chat. Like, this is too much. What did I get myself into? Yep, I'm not alone. Holly's in the house. Welcome in, Holly. How's your daughter, Holly? Tiffany, welcome in. Crystal's in the house. Welcome in, Crystal. Tonight's topic is I don't want to heal anymore. We're talking about, you know what? This is a lot. We're not going to quit, but we're going to honor that this shit is a lot. And sometimes we just want to say, fuck it all. So that is the topic tonight. We're talking about healing burnout, caring too much, having healing feel like a second job or 7th job, whatever. And the boss be bossy. Veronica Winkle, welcome in. Thank you for sharing out the live, y'all. Okay, sounds good. I see you, Amber. Child of God, welcome in. Can I get a 1 in the chat if you ever thought when you started this journey, if I do all this work, I will feel better. If I do all this work, I'll feel better. And yeah, I'll feel better. What music is playing? Karma. It is 444 hertz. Hi, Mama. Des, welcome in. Or Des, sorry. David, welcome in. Tonight we are talking about, I don't want to heal anymore. This shit is exhausting. We're not going to give up. We're not going to quit. But is it exhausting? Absolutely. Junior, welcome in. Richard. Nobody felt that? Can I get a 1 if when you started this journey, you're like, you know what? After I do some healing, I'm going to feel better. I thought that. Like, for me, oh, really? For me, I thought, you know what? I'm going to do this healing. I'm going to feel so much better. My life's going to be better. And it is, but it does get rockier before it gets better. I knew it was going to be gross. Healing is a hot mess. Tara was already like, you know what? I already know what I'm in for. Dede! Hi, Sissy. Yeah, I had this notion of butterflies and rainbows-ish, right? I knew it wasn't going to be super easy, but I thought that I could just do the work and it be better. But I learned that the work just changes and gets different. There is no end result. Like, there's no finish line. It's a lifelong journey. Kendra came in, she was like, nope, I know it's gonna be tough. Mike, welcome in. All right, guys. So, tonight we are talking about, I don't want to heal anymore. And often that comes with, when we say that out loud or to somebody else, it is immediately backed up with, but I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm fine. And what happens is we don't get to honor how we're feeling because it's immediately backed up with fear and shame. One of the things that we talk about a lot here is slowing down, which we're go-getters. We want to do the thing. We want to learn the thing. We put it into practice. We want to do something with it. And oftentimes this journey requires us to sit in and not do, which is so hard because we're programmed to do. We're programmed to do something with it. We were never taught how to sit in the feeling, right? And so, especially when we talk about, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. This is so much. I'm exhausted. There can be a lot of guilt and shame that come with that immediately from ourselves. So we're going to talk about that. I just want to normalize this. Oh, what if I turn it down or off? Andy, welcome in. We don't even have to have it, to be honest. Let's actually maybe piano. Piano seems to be good. It's like that's our go-to. How's this? Is that better? Okay. Cool. Yes, thank you. You guys are my eyes and ears on the other side. Okay. So when we talk about not wanting to heal, well, what our body is actually saying is that we're just so exhausted from being on all the time, exhausted from making sure that we're doing the right thing, saying the right thing, sitting in a lot of vulnerability, maybe doing it all alone, not feeling supported, carrying the emotional weight, especially if you are in partnerships or communities or families where you're the only one on the journey, right? You may have some friends that are on the journey with you, which is amazing and essential, but also you don't really have anybody to help you carry the weight, right? And that's super tough and it gets really exhausting. That's what we're one of the things that we're talking about tonight. When we are flooded with different language, we are learning new techniques, we're learning new therapies, right? When we come into this healing, books, all of this, to me, it's familiar. I felt alone and tired before the journey, to be honest. That, yes. And, you know, if you guys have ever felt that way, because I can resonate with that. And I think part of me thought that being on this journey would lighten that load. And most of the time that's not true because it's still extremely heavy. You're still carrying a lot of weight on yourself. Now, some of that is our own, of why we carry that, right? Because we feel like if we are not on all the time, if we are not managing everything, then everything is going to fall apart. Then we're going to lose everything that we worked hard for. And so we have to stay on all of the time. That is emotionally exhausting and physically exhausting because your body, your nervous system is on high alert 24/7. Put a 1 in the chat if sometimes or a lot of time you feel exhausted from this journey. This is my one. Yeah. Thank you everybody for being here. Exposed, right? And we're going to talk about that too. We're going to talk much deeper about what actually we're protecting that is causing us to carry so much weight, right? It's actually a protection. And we're going to talk more about that in the Sacred Middle. If you have not grabbed your seat, you can go up into my link tree and join us tonight, 5 to 7 p.m. Pacific. So right after this live, we'll hop over to the Sacred Middle and talk more about this. But just like so much other that we talk about in this journey, Just G, hello, is our body, our nervous system is working overtime to protect us. And this is just another way we can use healing as a protection. Now, that's not to say that we're doing it wrong or that it's bad or any of that. These are just awarenesses, right? Because what can happen is we can still use healing as a way to prove that we are worthy, worthy of love, right? To feel enough. And so we continue to ingest books, content creators, new techniques, and we can just keep bringing things in that can add more weight and that can be more exhausting. Sometimes we feel like there's a missing piece and we have to find that missing piece. Also because this deep work, like Tara said, requires vulnerability, which feels very scary and exposing, right? It touches a lot of really tender spots, triggers, things like that, wounds, traumas in our life. And one, if those keep getting brought up, it's like a wound that keeps reopening, right? And that's painful and it's exhausting because you're trying to like overcompensate in other areas because of the pain, right? So if you break your left leg, you're going to overcompensate with your right leg, right? And that right leg is going to get more tired. And first, do we have any questions before we go into everything? Beachbound, welcome in. So I have a question for you guys. Where do you feel tired first? Do you feel tired in your body or your mind first? Blue Jay, welcome in. Do you feel tired in your body or your mind first? For me, thinking about it, oftentimes I recognize it in my mind first. Like I can't think clearly. I think that's really where it shows up for me the most. But maybe if I'm paying more attention and I get more still, I can feel like an anxiousness in my body first. It's something to be aware of, right? Where do we feel that tired first? Of course, Kendra. Where do you feel you're tired first? Do you feel it in your body or in your mind? Oh, right behind the eyes. Rhonda, welcome in. Yeah, I was trying to think about where I feel tired first. Okay, let's see. Your mind first. Oh, in your jaw, yeah. My mind gets like cloudy and I can't think straight, and then I get anxious, and I think this is how I'll have to pay more attention. But I believe that that's how I notice it first is my mind gets overloaded, and then I get anxious, and then it all begins to like shut down. And I just want to say too that noticing that, like, if the thought has come up, I don't want to heal anymore, that it's not always avoidance. It's just information. Information that, like, you know what? This is a lot right now. That's a good one. Holding breath. I can definitely resonate with that. Marie, welcome in. It's just information. And so when our body begins to show us that we are tired, right? It's not that our nervous system just says, hey, this is too much. We're on overload. We need to slow down and pause. This doesn't necessarily mean that we have a motivation problem, that we just need to be more motivated. We need to be more positive, be more energetic, be more motivated. No, this is about safety. Our body looking and our nervous system looking for safety. It's saying, hey, I'm trying to communicate to you that we need to slow down and we need to pause. In this society, often we are taught to push through, to bear the weight, to keep going. Is there a time to, is there a season where we might need to push through the uncomfortable or sit in the uncomfortable? I think that's the difference. We've been taught how to force, and we're at war with our body instead of sit through, instead of push through. Okay. And there is a difference. How can we tell when healing becomes another performance? This is a beautiful question. And for a lot of people, it does. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they're doing it wrong. It just means that is still room for, there's a space where we still need loving. So for me personally, I found that even last year, I was still using my healing as a way to prove. To me, that would be performance, because, I mean, that's just, my programming was to prove my worth, right? Prove that you're worthy. Prove. And so to me, that, I guess that would be performance. If that's not what you mean, let me know. But I think that when we use healing as a way to prove that we are worthy, or worth being lovable, that is a recognition. That doesn't, oh, I see you, Kendra. And you know what? That's what I'm saying. It's not bad. It's just saying, okay, we see that this is happening, right? I was like, fuck. I'm still in the proving. Like, what the fuck do I have to do? But that's it, right? That's the thing. We don't have to do anything. Part of it is stop fucking doing shit and sit in it. Right? And Kendra, I'm with you. It is something that is ingrained into, because love equaled production. So of course it would show up. And I think, to be honest, a little bit, if that is a place that you struggle, it's probably going to be there in some form for so long. Does it get easier a little bit and a little bit? Yes. Is this year even more for me, learning that I don't have to prove through my healing? Yes. Marielle, welcome in. Because one of the things is, some people, okay, this is where it gets a little, we have a pendulum, okay? Some people, for lack of better terms, some people overcompensate, move, pursue, and some people avoid. Okay, so you have to be aware of which side of the pendulum you're on first. And we got both sides of that pendulum. Okay, if you pursue or you avoid. Okay, you could also look at anxious avoidant. Okay, anxious avoidant, empath, narcissist. However you want to say both sides of that pendulum, okay? It all means the same shit. There's two sides. Some people cling so they don't lose connection. Some people avoid so they don't feel the disappointment. So some people cling so they don't have to feel disappointment, and some people avoid so they don't have to feel disappointment or disconnect. Okay? Are we on the same page with that? Can I get a 1 in the chat? Welcome in, everybody. Kendra. I feel you. That's what I'm saying. So first you got to be aware of which side of the pendulum you're on right now. Guess what? When you begin to heal, you will swing to the other side of the pendulum. Okay? Because you got to experience both sides. The goal is to be able to pass through the sacred middle. Okay? Can't really stay there all of the time, but the goal is not So some people will call it codependent. Independent, what we're looking for is interdependent. Okay? Is there a phase where integration matters more than insight? 1,000%. Are we talking about attachment? So we're talking about, we don't want to heal anymore, but we're talking about why we get to that point. Healing burnout, carrying the weight, just continuing to adapt. And this is the thing, right, Rocky? Like, trying to heal. And I feel like this is where we kind of come in, the proving, right? We're in the beginning, we're like, give me everything. And that can be all consuming, right? Everything we think, say, do, all the things, right? I decided to listen to a post-apocalyptic book because I needed a break from healing stuff. That's my jam though. Like I listen to, like I love that, right? Jordan, welcome in. We need breaks. The thing is our identity becomes healing instead of healing being part of who we are. It becomes all consuming. Senior paper cut. Man, I see you. And you know what? That's valid. Some days we're like, you know what? This shit is too much. It's exhausting. If you have questions, throw them in the chat. So your body is trying to protect you from staying in a state of effort without relief. Okay? Because still in healing, we're the doing, and we haven't figured out how to be. Oops. Does healing fatigue come from growth or from self-surveillance? This is huge. Self-surveillance and surveillance in general. Now, growth, it can be from this adventure, this journey is a lot, okay, in general, because we are exposing ourselves to vulnerability a lot. Part of it is we have to be able to understand when to take breaks and that we don't have to be healing every area of our life every day, all year. Okay? But it can feel like we're running out of time. We're trying to make up for lost time. We have important relationships that we're trying to repair, right? And so it can feel overwhelming. But I do believe that it can be a combination. Growth, because we do have to experience vulnerability and sitting in the uncomfortable, which can also be exhausting, and grief, right? A lot of us have delayed grief or delayed grief, right? And in these, sometimes we can also touch wounds, and that can be exhausting, right? If you put that on top of now being on surveillance, on guard all of the time, what you think, say, do, where you go, who you're with, it becomes a lot, right? Did that answer your question, Tara? Man, I keep pressing the wrong button. This is exhausting, especially when you're the only one healing in your surrounding. And we're going to dive much deeper into this. We talked a little bit about it last week, but when you are the only one healing in your immediate circle, family, relationship, you now are carrying all of this weight, right? And feel like you are the only one doing anything. Oftentimes you might be. And we've talked about this over the last few weeks about covert contracts. We talked about when you're the only one healing, right? A lot of this comes from feeling like you have to carry all of the weight and overcompensation, right? This is because we are avoiding disappointment. We're avoiding disconnection. And so we are always on guard, feeling like we have to do everything. We're always on. Now, here's the thing. Yes, probably most of you, if not all of you in this live, carry the emotional weight of healing in your immediate circle. And that is exhausting. And that's part of why I want to take the shame out and just say, yeah, you're right. It is fucking exhausting. We just want to acknowledge that. It is a lot. Okay? And so your exhaustion is valid. Sometimes we can think, you know what? I just need to do more. I need to be more to carry the weight. How do I carry all the weight and not feel tired? No. It's about acknowledging it is exhausting and letting go of places where we can let go. What areas do we have covert contracts and expectations that we could be aware of? Because those are adding so much weight on us that we don't even recognize. I'm trying to catch up. Maybe when we stay focused on healing, we are programming to stay hurt. I see what you're saying. And this is what I think to that, is that staying focused on healing is still doing, is still proving, is still pushing through, is still production. And part of what we're missing is being sitting, pausing, being present, sitting in the uncomfortable. Oftentimes in healing, we can still do a lot of avoiding. You guys hear me talk about spiritual bypass. We could call it positivity bypass. You can call it whatever you want. Is that we bypass grief and sitting in the uncomfortable, which causes us to keep pushing through, which causes us to be exhausted because our body is saying, hey, we need time and space to grieve, to be, like Tara said, to integrate. Okay. So part of what happens in healing is that we do a lot, learn a lot, gain a lot of tools, but we don't actually put it to use in our everyday life. What the fuck do you mean, Amber? What I mean is, okay, yeah, we can meditate. We hear about meditation. Are we taking time to actually fucking breathe? We can talk about journaling. Are we actually journaling? We can talk about practicing the pause. Are we pausing? We can talk about grief and sitting in grief. What the fuck does that actually mean? Are we doing that? What is being present? Are we doing those things? Are we actually being vulnerable and honest with ourselves? Or are we still trying to push through? I see you, Tara. I have delayed everything. Marielle, I'm carrying it alone. I see you, sweetheart. And there are amazing women in this chat that can walk alongside you. We have the sacred middle. You don't have to do it alone. I work with women one-on-one, so they don't have to carry it alone, right? That's why I partly started this. Hi, Holly. How's Lily? Is so that you don't have to feel alone. That's having a mentor, having a coach walk alongside you is a game changer. It was a game changer for me. What if the urge to quit healing is grief, not resistance? Yes, I agree with you. It is that urge to quit healing is, let me ask this. Do you mean by, I want to make sure that we're on the same page and I'm understanding you. What if the urge to quit healing is grief? Because it's just overwhelming. There's so much sorrow, so much grief that it's like, you know what? I don't know if I can hold all of this. Is that close? And oftentimes it isn't resistance. That's kind of what I was talking about earlier, is it's not avoidance. It's just, man, this is a fucking lot. Can I do this? My body and my brain, I don't know if I can hold all this. I studied the sacred middle for years in my esoteric studies. I would love to hear more about that. What does healing feel loneliest when it's actually working? Oh, why does healing feel loneliest when it's actually working? That's a beautiful question. The first thing that comes to my mind is because we're learning to connect with ourselves. That almost made me tear up. We have what is the word I'm looking for? We have went outside of ourselves for everything and not truly gone inward and connected to ourself. We've abandoned ourselves from on both sides of that pendulum our whole lives. And so I think that we kind of have to break away or, make that adjustment to make room to connect with ourself first. Like ourself, that's one, right? Even if we do connect with somebody else, which I think is super important, having a safe connection. But I think, again, that heart's first thought is that because we're making space to connect with ourself. Oh my gosh, I keep clicking down there. I'm catching up. I'm like 30 messages behind. Too much sorrow to carry, grief. Wow, I'm not avoiding my healing. I'm not resisting. Yeah, that's why I love these conversations, is because when we have that thought is, man, fuck, this is a lot. This is maybe too much. We counter it with shame, right? Which creates so much more weight instead of just honoring that, you know what? Yeah, this is a lot. And this is actually a healthy part of our journey because we're gaining information. It's saying, hey, we need to slow down. What's happening? Get curious. Thank you. Breaking away from the dynamics that kept us in loops of dysfunction. 100%, I would say that. And that's that making space to connect with self. You have to disconnect from some other things, right? Lima! Aww. I've talked about forgiveness, and I think forgiveness is not a one and done, in my opinion. I think that it's just a honoring of their humanness as well. And then when something gets triggered, the grief comes up, and then, in my opinion, we go back to that forgiving. Oh, they're human and we understand, right? Let me know if I missed anything. Nate, welcome in. Whew, I think I'm caught up, guys. Thank you for being patient. Let me know if I missed any questions or anything. Thank you, Holly. Thank you, Tara. I appreciate you guys. So we are talking about, I don't want to heal anymore. This is a lot. We're talking about why. Also because rest. I hear you. What the fuck is rest, Amber? And some of us can not do anything, but still carry guilt and shame when we're not doing anything. Put a 1 in the chat if you have trouble resting. Oh, my Lanta. I see you, Lima, and we talk a lot about shame here and removing that shame and what to do with it, and how the sacred middle is a beautiful place to join us for that. We would love to have you there. Oops. Wait, hold on. I think I saw it come through, Tara. When healing stops working, is it because the old self is dying? When healing stops working, do you mean, let me make sure I'm on the same page as you. When healing stops working, do you mean when the healing tools that we have been using are not working the same as they were? Is that what you mean, or do you mean something different? Oh, okay. I appreciate you. I love the questions. It's great. Okay. When healing stops working, is it because the old self is unaliving? I think when a few things that are happening, when the tools, this is what comes to my mind. We can often feel like this was working before. How come it's not working now? This worked on this situation. How come it's not working here? So there's a few things happening. One is that healing is like an onion. And so when we do the work on one layer of the onion, the universe will peel that back, or God, whatever you resonate with, will peel that back and expose a new layer of the onion. You might need new tools, new understanding, more space, more rest. There's that. Also, we are programmed for each thing in person differently. And so just because we use one technique on one relationship or situation in our life does not mean that that is going to work for across the board. Okay, copy that, Tara. I appreciate you. Heather, hello, hello. Okay, copy that. So part of this also is because we don't understand or know how to rest, right? And so if we're just going on this healing journey and we're not resting, right? There's no relief. Of course, we're going to burn out. And there's a difference between sleep and rejuvenation. There's a difference between sleep and rest. And I can tell you firsthand, because if my nervous system is always on heightened alert, and in my body I'm not feeling safe subconsciously, in my dream state, my subconscious will continue to try to work shit out and I will wake up exhausted. Put a 1 in the chat if you have ever slept a long time or slept and woke up feeling more tired than when you went to bed. Z8, welcome in. If you're new here and tonight is your first night, put a 1 in the chat so that we can welcome you in. Yes. Same, Rocky. It's something I'm actively currently working on. You guys, I don't come to you and talk about these topics if I've never gone through them, experienced them, have some sort of insight. I'm with you, okay? This is where I am right now, is that I am recognizing that in my subconscious, I'm still on guard. And a lot of that has to do with I'm always battling, searching, finding, at war. Yeah. And it's because the rest, right, is, can we learn to turn off for even just moments? And what does that mean? That means, for me, that some things won't get done. Is that I'm not going to control other people's relationships, right? So take, for example, one of the areas that I have carried so much weight is and silent expectations and things like that, is the relationship between my husband and our kids. I have exhausted myself in that area. Why? Because I'm trying to avoid my children disappointment or future husband, or my husband's future disappointment. Avoiding disappointment. Avoiding future disappointment, right? So we feel like we have to manage and control everything. Right? We look for something to distract us. Avoid rest unconsciously. Detach from trauma bond and learning how to heal with less spiraling. I love that. That's awesome. And it's not that we're never going to spiral. It's what we do with that, right? And it's just being aware, right? So are we actually resting? Are we, and I think too, one of the ways that we truly learn to begin to rest is by stop abandoning ourselves. Is by giving ourselves what we actually need. But oftentimes we avoid being aware of what the root need is, right? So, say like, hypervigilance is exhausting, yes. And a lot of us, that's how we kept safe our whole life, right? So say you find yourself doom scrolling and you're like, why am I scrolling? Why am I scrolling? But you just like can't seem to get off. Probably we're avoiding something. Because if you're doom scrolling and you're not avoiding something else, there won't be like a heavy weight or guilt or shame or supposed to be, right? We'll be just like, okay, enjoying it. But if we're avoiding something, there'll be like there's oftentimes a lot of shame in it as well. And so what do I actually need? My body might actually need to go for a walk, or it might actually need a cup of fucking water, or it might be that I need to reach out to this person, or maybe I need to hop on my chat GPT and fucking hash some shit out, right? Like, or I need to message my coach, right? Maybe I need to journal, whatever, but it's getting honest what we actually need as well. Yes, body is still in survival, and it takes a really long time. And this is where part of the, you know what, fuck it, because it does take a long time. However old you are, it's going to take probably, I don't know, that same amount of time, or, you know, I'm not saying it has to be the same amount of time, but think of it this way, because I don't want to discourage you. But if, for me, okay, I have had 43 years of one way. It's going to take me several years to be able to let that go and it create a new habit, because again, this is where the synaptic pathways, right? And the neuroplasticity and learning something new and it becoming part of who we are, that the synaptic pathway, if we've been doing it one way, is pretty deep and it's pretty automatic, right? I can lean too much into isolation and have to remind myself to reach out. And rest, being isolated and removing yourself doesn't always mean rest either, right? Like, it can look like rest, like, because we're taking space, but are we actually resting? This is where it's about getting really honest with ourselves. Do we actually rest? Do we feel rejuvenated? Do we feel relief? Are there any spaces where you feel relief? How do you feel about that, Heather? Thank you for being here. Does anybody have any questions? Wow. Let's see. I say wow because it's already 4:48 and I didn't even get past page 1. Rest and rejuvenation are different. And how are they different for you? And I'm curious. For me, even just reminding my body that I'm safe can be like rest, right? Like pause, like stop. So that can even be rest for me. Rejuvenation is for me, you're right, a little bit different. I'm dancing. That also for me is relief. I'm releasing until I feel rejuvenated. Being out in nature is rejuvenating. I feel like I have done a lot, but not enough at the same time. I see you. It's super tough. Always feeling like it's not enough. Not where we want to be, right? Let's see. Control. So control is a huge one. If we are still making everything look right, if we're still trying to control everything, we're not actually calm. We're not actually allowing our nervous system to breathe, to feel safe. And that's really what this is. Does our nervous system ever get moments of safety? I would say, if I had to, that would be what relief is. Does that resonate with you guys? Do you agree? for sure, is that rest or relief really is just our nervous system feeling safe, even for a moment. To me, that's what, if we are going to like the root of it, is that there are moments that our nervous system feels safe and we can breathe, a bit of relief. Rest equals short, recipient, rejuvenation longer. Okay. I love the different perspectives, right? So in my body it feels a little bit different, but I totally understand, and that also makes sense. Sometimes it can feel even harder when we have things happen in our life, death, loss. Yes. And so also thank you for mentioning that, Mom, because we have to remember that life is still going to life. Just because we're healing doesn't mean that we're not going to get triggered. We're not going to experience grief or any of these things, right? Like, so first of all, healing doesn't mean not feeling. And this is again where I talk about like the bypassing. Healing doesn't equal not feeling. Healing is feeling. And in fact, we have to feel it to heal it, right? In my belief. My professional and personal experience, we have to feel it. And that's what we've been avoiding, is feeling the discomfort, the grief, the anger, whatever we're avoiding feeling, right? Vulnerability, feeling exposed. When I talk about these things, I talk about experiencing them in a safe container. So when I say it's important to feel or it's important to be vulnerable, that's in a safe container, right? Practicing that in a safe container. I don't know where I was going with that. Let me know if you guys remember. I'm starting to distinguish resting nervous system and learning to implement and experience tools. That's awesome, right? This is where we get into somatics and somatic healing and the nervous system regulation and all those fun, fancy words. But what does that actually like? What does that mean for you in your life? One of the things that I've been enjoying is that I found is helping me, because we have to try a lot of things and see what works and doesn't work for us. I have been laying on my back and putting my feet straight up. It's one of the ways that I have been talking to my nervous system and allowing my nervous system to say, hey, we're going to be here for a minute. Does anybody have any more questions before we end tonight? It is already 4:54. Reminder, we have the Sacred Middle, small all-women's group coaching on Zoom. Seats are still available. We would love to have you there. Next week, we are talking about, let me see. Oops. Next week, we're talking about sex. Next week is about sex. So join us. We're going to talk about sex carries layers of desire, pressure, shame, and obligation. So we'll explore how sex changes over time through stress, trauma, long-term relationships, and how honesty and choice matter more than performance and expectations. We're going to talk about how intimacy changes for us on this healing journey. There's a lot of confusion and shame and all of that, especially if you are in a partnership with the same person. It can be extremely confusing for both parties. So we're going to talk about that. Thank you for that. We'll try that as well. Ooh, that sounds awesome. Z8. Okay, guys, I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. And also a reminder, if you want to work with me one-on-one, I walk alongside you and I help you create a more stable self. Okay, because life is going to be lifing, but I want you to be able to have solid ground and not abandon yourself. Let me see, Tara, I'm not sure what you said last. I don't see anything from you. Profound subject in psychological perspective. Oh yeah, sex, yes. Thank you, you too, Rocky. I appreciate you for being here. I see that, Tara. I must have missed, wait, what else you said? I don't see anything. Okay, guys, remember, fuck perfect. See you guys next week, and don't forget to join us next Monday right here for our next topic. All right, guys, see you in the sacred middle. Bye.